Right, this is a lesson of 1.8, related multiplication to division. How is multiplication used to solve a division problem? You can use the relationship between multiplication and division to solve a division problem. Using the same numbers, multiplication and division are opposite or inverse operations. So if you have the factors of 3 and 8, they give you a product of 24. If you have a dividend of 24 and you divide it by one of those factors, or your divisor is one of those factors, then you're going to get the other divisor, or the other factor is going to be your quotient. Joel and 5 friends collected 126 marbles. They shared the marbles equally. How many marbles will each person get? Okay, let's touch again on inverse operations. They are opposite operations or operations that undo each other, such as addition and subtraction and multiplication and division. So let's look at Joel. Joel and his 5 friends collected the 126 marbles. They shared the marbles equally. How many marbles will each person get? It says outline a rectangular array on the grid to model 126 squares arranged in 6 rows of the same length. Shade each row in a different color. Okay, so we're going to make our box that is 6 squares long. And it's going to be 26 squares long. I'm sorry, it's going to be 21 squares long. Okay, so now we have our box that's 6 long, 6 down, and 21 across. And says how many squares are shaded in each row. So if we have 6 friends, and how are we going to decide how many are shaded? Well, 6 times what is 126? Or 126 divided by 6 is what? Let's do that one. 6 goes into 12 twice. And it leaves us a 6. Or leaves us a 1 here. And that goes in and we get our 0. So we're going to have shaded those boxes. Here's 1 for Joel, 1 for his first friend, 1 for his second friend, 1 for his third friend, 1 for his fourth friend, and 1 for his 5th friend. So how many squares are shaded in each row? We decided 21. Use the array to complete the sentence. So we said 6 times 21, or 126 divided by 6 is 21. So each of the 6 friends will get 21 marbles. Okay, now we've moved on to page 36, another way. And it says you can use the distributive property and an area model to solve division problems. Remember that the distributive property states that multiplying a sum by a number is the same as multiplying each add-in in the sum by the number and then adding products. You have to go back to one of our first lessons. You just have that in your notebook. You need to get out and look at the distributive property. So it says, write a related multiplication sentence for the division problem. It says, think. Use the divisor as a factor and the dividend as a product. The quotient will be the unknown factor. So we can take 4 times what is 52. Okay, so we're going to use the distributive property. Now they took 52 and made it into 40 plus 12. So now 4 times what equals 40? That would be 10. And 4 times what equals 12? 3. Okay, in step 3 then, you're going to find the sum of the unknown factors of the smaller areas. So we figured that one of those areas is 10 and one is 3. So that is 13. In step 4, it says write the multiplication sentence with the unknown factor that you found. Then use the multiplication sentence to find the quotient. So 4 times 13 is 52, or 52 divided by 4 is 13. This is the explain at the bottom of page 36. The question is, or how can you use the distributive property to find the quotient of 96 divided by 8? Okay, so you're looking at your distributive property. I can write the related multiplication sentence, 8 times blank equals 96. Then I can use the distributive property to break apart the product. So 96 can be equal to 80 plus 16, which is equal to, okay, I apologize, I got interrupted. I can write the related multiplication sentence, 8 times something equals 96. Then I can use the distributive property to break apart the product. 96 is equal to 80 plus 16 is equal to 8 times 10 plus 8 times 2 is equal to 8 times 10 plus 2. Since 8 times 12 is equal to 96. 96 divided by 8 is equal to 12. Now, you guys may not be familiar with this little sign right here, that slash. That is another way you can write division, or the division sign, and you'll see that when you get a little bit older and are working maybe at the high school level. Okay, now we're on the share and shown. Brad has 72 cars that he puts into 4 equal groups. How many cars does Brad have in each group? So we're going to have an array, and there are going to be the 4 groups, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so we would divide that equally to see how many 4s in 72, or we could break that down. So let's look at that. So if you look at your array, you have 4 groups, and there are 18 in each group. So 4 times 18 is 72, and 72 divided by 4 is 18. Okay, so now we're on page 37, and we're on number 5 on your own. 60 divided by 4, and you can go over to the side and do that. 60 divided by 4 goes in there once, with 20 left over, so it's 15. Now, if you want to use your distributive property, you can say 4 times 10 plus 4 times 5. We distributed 15 into 10 plus 5 is equal to 108. And 4 times 10 is 40 plus 20. I'm sorry, is equal to, not 108, I looked at the wrong problem. Is equal to 60. And 40 plus 20 is 60. This is problem 6 on that same spot. 144 divide it by 6, goes in there twice, that's 12, and 24, and 6 goes into 24 4 times. So we have 24. Now we can we're going to multiply everything by 6. And we're going to break 24 down into 2 factors. So let's say we break it into 20 and 4. That's going to equal 144. So 6 times 24 is equal to 144. This is number 7 on page 37. 252 divided by 9. There are 2 9s in that. I'll do a little regrouping here. So that answer is 28. Okay, so now we're going to use our distributive property. Go ahead and take that factor that there, or that divisor, and put it in those parentheses, and then break your 28 down into 20 and 8, so that you have 9 times, and we're going to add these 2 things, 28 equals 252.